Are we on? Are we live? Is it working? Oh, that scared me. My own stream element scared me. No, that's bloody sad. My own stream element startled me. Speaking of stream elements, speaking of stream elements, everybody. So, I don't know if you could tell. Oh, let me turn on my mic. Actually, it's very loud. So, I was playing music, but it's copyright, so I had to pause it. Very short stream. Gonna go to bed soon. However, do you want to look into modding cyberpunk? Very curious. My older brother told me about that the other day, and I'm like, you know what, dude? He is a serious gamer, and I really trust his opinion. And so he was asking me about modding. I said, I'm kind of nervous to mod. I've never modded anything, by the way, because I am like a noob, number one. And number two, the only game I was ever the other game I ever was gonna mod was The Sims. We'll get into that another day. So, but modding cyberpunk, so there's a few things I need to figure out. I need to figure out if it changes the GPU load and how that'll affect my graphics card or my situation. Before I even think about modding, which I'm sure it'll be fine, or there's ways to fix it or whatever, but I just want to look into it so I don't get any surprises. And then I also just want to look into like the possibilities of like getting banned or anything, because I don't know. I thought games ban you if you mod them. I've heard people say like EA, like they've gotten banned. Come up here, come on up here. So I've heard EA say that they've gotten, well, people have said that EA has banned them for modding. And then also, obviously, Activision bans for modding. And then, so I don't know, like, am I gonna ruin something or get in trouble if I mod my game? Anyway, let's watch this video. Ooh, I should replay it.
CD Projekt Red has been hard at work updating Cyberpunk over these past few years. With the recent release of patch 2.3, support for the game continues to attract new and returning players. Because of this, today's video is an updated video guide on how to mod Cyberpunk in 2025 using Vortex Mod Manager. And if you came to this video looking for troubleshooting methods to fix broken mods for patch 2.3 or a future patch, you might want to check out my other video that's shown on screen right now. On screen now is the video timeline listing all the information I'll be covering as we set up all of the necessary modding tools. As always, links to websites, mods, and resources will be provided in the video description, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below.
I have questions.
So there are two requirements for modding Cyberpunk. You're going to want to have a Nexus Mods account and the Vortex Mod Manager software. At least for this tutorial, that is the mod manager that I use for my game, but there are other options if you research online. Next, you'll want to download the Vortex Mod Manager software, which is also on the Nexus Mods website and will be linked down in the video description below. Just click download the latest version now, scroll down to where it asks for a manual download. It's going to tell you a couple of requirements. You're just going to click download and wait for that to finish. Now that I'm logged in, I can click Start Download. Once it is finished, you're just going to want to run that exe. It's going to ask you a location to install it. One recommendation I will make is that you want your Steam games and your Vortex Mod Manager and your mods to all be installed on the same drive. This will mainly reduce issues with compatibility and load times and any errors that you might otherwise encounter. So make sure that if your Steam is on your C drive, your Vortex Mod Manager should also be installed to the C drive. Go ahead and click the install button, open up Vortex, and if there isn't a shortcut on your desktop, you'll have to use the Windows key and search for the application. Now that Vortex is open, we're going to go to the top right and we're going to log in. I'm going to click authorize, and authorization was successful. Once you have Vortex Mod Manager open, you're going to want to head to the Games tab and look for Cyberpunk. There'll be a manage box right here. You're going to click it and it's going to either auto-detect your games folder or you're going to have to input the location of Cyberpunk itself. Finding the location of your game folder is very easy. You're going to want to go to Steam, right-click Cyberpunk, go to Properties, go to Installed Files, and right here, click Browse. It'll pull up the file explorer and it'll show you the exact file path. In my case, I have it on my D drive. If you want to save the location of this as text, you want to right click this right here, copy address as text, then you can paste it into a notepad. If you're on GOG Galaxy, simply go to the top left, hit the cogwheel, go down to settings, go to the installing and updating tab, and right here, game install. If you have Cyberpunk installed, it'll be in here as well. Then once you're back in Vortex, you simply click select folder. If it asks you to confirm which platform you're using, just make sure that you're using Steam or GOG and select the correct box. Very quickly, we're going to make sure we have the Red Mod tool installed. This is packaged as DLC on the Cyberpunk tab right here. If we right-click Cyberpunk, go to Properties, go to DLC, and make sure that Red Mod is ticked right here on this row. It should automatically install it for you. Before we return to Vortex, we're going to want to hit play on Cyberpunk and take care of one final thing. Once Red Launcher opens up, we just want to hit this cogwheel here and make sure that Enable Mods is selected and enabled. Once that's done, there will be a Profiles tab, and if it didn't automatically set one up for you, you're going to want to create a new one. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to add Cyberpunk 2077 profile. We're going to name it Tutorial because that's what this video is. You just click Enable, and it'll swap it over to the actual page. I think this should be set up by default already, but you should be able to go to the Mods tab and view an empty mod list now. Back in Vortex, I'm going to go to Settings and the Mods tab. I'm going to make sure that my mod staging folder is on the same drive that we just checked that Cyberpunk was on, which was the D drive, or in the case of many other people, it'll be the C drive. You check right here, the Suggest button will tell you the exact same thing, putting the mods on the same drive as the game. I would say that keeping this defaults tab here ticked is generally recommended. In my case, I have my own staging folder set up, so just keep this ticked. I have it set manually. A final setting to check before we download our first mod would be to go to this V2077 settings tab. Right here, automatically convert legacy style archive mods to red mods on install. Not recommended, and I agree. Make sure this is grayed out. I've had this enabled in the past and it gave me a ton of troubles with mods just straight up not working. Navigating Nexus Mod's website to download your first Cyberpunk mod is quite simple. Head over to the Cyberpunk page, which I have linked down below, and we're going to scroll down a little bit to here where we can sort by popular. We're going to open the Cyber Engine Tweaks mod. Cyber Engine Tweaks is a scripting framework, and it allows you to open a player console, set keybinds for other mods. This is the mod that most mods depend on, and you'll want to be updating each time there is a new patch for Cyberpunk. On the description page, you'll want to scroll down and check the Requirements tab. This mod does not have any known dependencies other than the base game, which means we're fine to download this without downloading anything else. Reading the description is important because you might have notes like this, where you might have to install the latest Visual C++ redistributable for the mod to run. In my case, I already have it, but in your case, you may want to just double check. To get this mod downloaded to Vortex, we're going to go to the Files tab, we're going to go to Mod Manager Download, and then we're just going to click Open Vortex. I'm going to X out of that and head over to Vortex. So it says the download has been finished. We're going to install it right here. It's going to replace the one that I've highlighted right here. It'll just take a little while to deploy. And there we go. At the top, Cyber Engine Tweaks has been updated. I'm going to delete the old one right here by deleting the archive, and this mod now works.
Wait. Oh my god, that's so easy.
Now let's do something a little bit more complicated. Let's say you want to download this Tron suit mod by Observe. You go to the Files tab, you'll see that the main file requires a manual download. Read the description for more info. Now, if we go down and we click the Requirements tab, we're going to see we need Archive XL, Red 4 extension, and Tweak XL. Heading over to Archive XL, we'll see that it was updated for July 17th, 2025. And just to confirm, we scroll down to the compatibility section and we see that yes, it is updated for patch 2.3. If we go to the Requirements tab, we see it just requires Red 4 EXT. So we're going to go over to there. And we're going to see that this mod has no dependencies. We're going to see that it was also updated for July 17th, 2025, and should be compatible with patch 2.3, the latest patch. Go to the Files tab, Mod Manager Download, open to Vortex. Go to the Archive XL, go to Files, go to Mod Manager Download, download it, open to Vortex. Then back on the Tron suit page, we go to Tweak XL. We make sure that it's been updated for patch 2.3, July 17th, 2025. Yes, it has been updated for patch 2.3. We're going to check the requirements for this mod. We already downloaded Red 4 EXT, so we should be good to go to the Files tab, Mod Manager Download, download, open to Vortex. Once you've installed and enabled those mods in Vortex, we can then go ahead to the Files tab here and click Manual Download. And click Download, and it's going to pop up in the top right. We're going to drag this RAR file to our desktop. To extract a RAR file, you're going to have 7-zip installed. I'll leave a link to that program in the description below. Right-click the RAR file, go to 7-zip, go to Extract to, and it should send it to a folder on your desktop. Right-click your Cyberpunk, go to Properties, go to Installed Files, click Browse to pull up your game directory, and then just close out of Steam. We're going to situate the folders side by side here. I'm going to open the Tron suit folder, and we're just going to side by side do a little comparison. As you can see on the right is the Tron folder with the archive and the R6 folder. In the Cyberpunk folder, we see there's an archive and an R6 as well. Installing this Tron suit manually into your game is as simple as highlight left clicking, dragging into here, and copying to the Cyberpunk folder. Since I already have files in these folders, I'm not going to replace the files because there's no point, but it should automatically place them in the correct location. As you can see, archive, PC, mod, these are the files that are going in there. And that's it. You've manually installed your mod. To double check that it works, we're going to go into Vortex. We're going to go to the top left here and click Launch. Now that we're in game, we should be able to add the Tron suit to our inventory by going over to the Tron page. I'm going to highlight this top code. I'm going to Control C. We're gonna go in-game. I'm gonna hit the button that I have to open up the CyberEngine Tweaks console, which I set to tilde. It should prompt you at the start of the game when installing CyberEngine Tweaks for the first time, what button you want to open the console. Again, mine is tilde. I'm gonna go to this chat box here, and I'm gonna Control V. I'm gonna hit enter, and we should have a notification on the left, looted Tron suit blue. If I go into my wardrobe here, we're gonna see that yes, we have the blue Tron suit, and this is what it should look like in-game. With each major update to Cyberpunk, many mods can take weeks to be updated. Some mods may be left incompatible indefinitely as they've been abandoned or discontinued by their author, requiring you to download alternative mods or revert your game to a previous version, which is the solution that I'm using for right now to keep my game working. Because of this, if your game is crashing after following this tutorial, I suggest you double check that you have all the requirements installed for each mod you download. Also, make sure each mod is actually compatible with patch 2.3 or whatever patch you're currently on while watching this video. As time passes, more mods will likely be up to date and work for your game. If you decide to revert your game to a previous older version, keep in mind that many mod authors hide their previous mod versions behind file archives, and in the case of CyberEngine Tweaks, for example, you must go to Yamashi's GitHub page to download an older version. If you are having troubleshooting issues, mod errors, script errors, crashes, or your game won't launch, check out my other video regarding mod fixes for patch 2.3 and future patches. I have a slightly out-of-date spreadsheet that contains my mod list and shows the most essential Cyberpunk mods at the very top, so when you're trying to figure out what you need to update, you might want to check out the link in the description and reference that sheet for yourself.
Come touch me like I'm an ordinary man. Have a look in my eyes. Underneath my skin there is a violence. It's got a gun in its hands. Ready to make sense of anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything. Black holes living inside of your face. Razor wires spinning around you, 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 around you.
This is the original trailer, I think. It's the old one. Really old trailer. I mean, the music was good then too. It was good fucking 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago too. 10, 11 years, whenever they started this. Okay. So modding Cyberpunk was easy as long as I have the requirements. Okay. Let me see. Oops. Okay, I want to do lore real fast. But I don't want spoilers, so there's a delicate line. For sure. Oh, the trauma team, that actually would be interesting. Lore, excuse me. Because in the arcade game, you played the trauma team, but you're literally just like murdering people.
With the American Express Platinum card,
that I
you can
noticed,
unlock experiences like no other. Find out your welcome offer.
I was like, why are we the medics? Like we're being sent to help, but like we're literally Like in the game, you get
Walking down the
score
neon
for like
streets, minding
killing
your own
people.
business after grabbing a bite to eat at Tom's Diner, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a crazy gang member, or God forbid, a cyber psycho, has threatened your life, wanting your chrome or your money. Have they got to the point where they have fired their gun at you and knocked you on the floor, bleeding out, giving you only a few moments to call someone that can help save your life? Well, have no fear, because for just a few hundred/thousands of dollars a month, you can get the best treatment out there. One team who will take only 7 minutes to get to your body that is losing blood faster and faster, and package dependent, will save you from the inevitable flatline. This team is your local trauma team, who together with a large number of their close corporation partners will give you the best treatment you could ask for in your time of need. But who are these amazing people on the trauma team that I speak so highly of, whilst totally not being paid by their higher-ups? What makes them stand out from the regular medics? How have they changed over the years, and what do you get from being with them? Well, in today's video, we will be exploring Night City's medical corporation and how they can save your life when you travel. This is the story behind Cyberpunk's medical corporation, known as Trauma Team. The corporation of Trauma Team isn't actually a primarily Night City-based corporation. Instead, the trademark of Trauma Team International now currently spreads throughout most of North America, with its headquarters being based within Seattle, Washington. This team currently also now has locations based within, as mentioned, most cities in North America, Tokyo, and of course, Night City. Originally found within Seattle before the year of 2020, this corporation noticed that there was a real gap in the market for personal medical assistance, and now as America was suffering more and more violence due to a wide variety of things, such as the data crash, the rising gang warfare and nomad clans, and the many wars America wanted to get themselves involved in to benefit from different trade routes and all, such as the Central American Wars, this was the perfect time for them to set up. As Trauma Team International did set up, violence and crime rates rose massively within the United States, and because of that, this corporation became easily one of the most powerful within all of America, gaining clients almost every second. This immediate rise in power allowed them to then spread into Canada, parts of Europe, and then eventually reaching into Japan. By the year 2020, over a dozen Trauma Team crews would be sent into major cities at a time to help with the injuries and deaths by natural causes, which was honestly quite rare, and crime-related deaths. As Trauma Team went on to set up within Night City, they would build a large medical hospital within Little China within the Watson district, which would also give the public access to its own Night City area rapid transit service, which ran from the med center to other parts of the larger city. These members of Trauma Team are indeed some of the best paramedic techs and staff money could buy from all over the world, with no money being spared within this corporation, and many people really respected them when they'd see them on the streets. With all of that said, it sounds like the most perfect medical system you could ask for within a city, and most will probably think they'd want them in theirs without hesitation. However, Trauma Team hasn't gotten to where they are today without asking their clients to pay a pretty penny for their services. Within the 2020s, the Trauma Team business model was said to be split into 3 types of coverage. The first was the full body life coverage, which would either cost the client €500 per month or €5,550 a year. With this, you would get full access to Trauma Team. However, if you were to call them out to help with your condition, you would have to pay a further €100 for every minute they were out on your call, and that would not stop ticking away until your arrival or their arrival at the nearest corporate med center. With that said, Trauma Team with this package, for example, would not be obliged to actually take you to a hospital or med center. Here, they would be responsible for reviving and stabilizing your condition, even if that was you being critically wounded. And once that was done, if you were not on a good enough package, they would just leave and bill you once they got back to the med center or hospital. On top of that, if a Trauma Team is sent into an area in which they would have to use their weaponry, the client who called them out would also have to refund them for all the ammunition they used, as well as the fuel they used to get there and any equipment and personnel damage. Whilst this is the most popular service for the people within their cities, there is one benefit they can have if Trauma Team do not get there within 10 minutes, and that is the customer will receive 50% off of the cost of spent ammunition.
Wow.
So whilst you could have lost your life thanks to them being late, at least you will not have to spend an absolute fortune on their ammunition. Instead, your corpse will only be charged 50% of it, and who will pay it, it doesn't really matter. That's for you to sort out or your closest relatives anyway. The second coverage within the 2020s was one called corporate coverage, or the more expensive corporate executive coverage, which would cost the customer €1,500 per month or €16,500 a year for the corporate cover, and €12,000 per month or €120,000 a year for the executive cover. With this plan, you are guaranteed a response time of just 7 minutes, and when the team arrive, they absolutely will take you to the corporate medical center, but the client will still have to pay for equipment or personnel damage for the regular corporate cover anyway. For the executives, they will not have to pay a penny for any of this. However, paying €12,000 a month, I don't think anyone would expect you to. The plan above, however, is known as the high priority coverage, which will set you back €34,000 every month, and due to how expensive this service is, there is no yearly charge. It is only monthly, maybe due to the nature of the people taking this cover out. With this plan, the client who takes it out will gain the Gold Trauma Team Inc. card and will be guaranteed a response time of 3 to 5 minutes, which they claim is the fastest in the business. On a call out, the client that needs picking up and care will be collected and taken not to a med center, but to a corporate hospital instead. Luckily for the client, they will not have to pay for any ammunition and fuel used when they come to collect them. However, surprisingly, they will still have to pay for any equipment or personnel damage. So really what made these plans different within the 2020s? Well, two small things: response time and location of where the client goes. The ones who paid more are more likely to survive any critical condition and will be taken to a luxury bed to recover, whereas those who are lower in the benefits will more likely or not bleed out on the street, and even if they are recovered, will just be left there on the street, this time with some bandages and with their heart beating again. By 2022 and 2023, the fourth corporate war had taken place, and for the trauma team, this was their busiest period they had ever experienced, which could be seen as a good thing financially. However, they were struggling massively because of the war, and their resources were becoming very limited. With so many calls coming in almost every minute, the corporation had to change up their policies to make sure the right people were being seen to. Due to the nature of the war being started by both corporations of Arasaka and Militech, Trauma Team declared that they would take absolutely no calls from either side. This could have been seen as a way to show their neutrality, to make it so both corporations kept them in their good books for when the war comes to an end. This allowed Trauma Team to focus only on civilian requests, but with a new catch. This was the combat rate. If anyone so much as fired a weapon within half a kilometer of their premises, they would be charged for it, and quite substantially as well. Despite this new policy focusing only on civilians and adding new charges to their finances, Trauma Team still struggled within the corporate war as the calls were mounting the more battles that were happening all over the world. By 2045, the long fourth corporate war had finally come to an end, and fortunately for the Trauma Team, they had survived it. But it had meant that they had to only focus on regional areas instead of full international cover. This was because the war had devastated their suppliers, and as a result of this, repairs for their AV4s were becoming hard to come by, as well as things like medical dressings, key drugs, vaccines, and trained personnel. With more and more hospitals and clinics collapsing due to the lack of resources and funding, quite a lot of patients who were still ill or were wounded would find their plans with the Trauma Team changed to just the basic rate. Most of the reasons were due to the fact that many of the ill and injured individuals could not afford the high response fees that had more than likely gone up due to how high in demand they had become. Despite that, however, it was reported that many edge runners would go in on to buy single Trauma Team cards that they would then break into to trick them into thinking they were call-out priorities, in the hope that Trauma Team could provide them with regular treatment for their wounded team members due to the nature of their work. Due to the recent events in recent years, these Trauma Teams would undergo an image change as well, not really by choice, but because they had to due to how the world had changed them. The teams would now swap out their basic blue and yellow uniforms that had displayed their compassion to their fellow man, and now they would be heavily armed to allow them to deal with anything on their job. These Trauma Team workers, almost troopers at this point, would all operate using extremely advanced and protective armor. They would go on to fly into a medical emergency with the latest and greatest in flight engineering, that being their own new TTI Medical AV4A, which would be an extremely lightweight aerodyne that could get in and out of tight spaces with ease, and had heavily protected armor on it to make sure that if any were to be attacked, it could hold off from the heaviest gunfire it might experience. With that said, they won't exactly run from a fight if they need to, as the AV will...
Oops. Oh, man.
will be heavily armed with a front-mounted Gatling gun, as well as 7.62 SAW machine guns, which are mounted to the sides of the vehicle in which the security specialist would be sitting by, with mobile tanker trucks and a ground refueling station coming with them as backup. Within this team would be the main pilot, with the co-pilot sitting next to them working the front-mounted Gatling gun, with neither of these individuals leaving the aerodyne at any moment, ready to go at any moment's notice and fire at anyone who does not comply with their methods and requests. Behind the pilots are the security specialists, who, as mentioned, will watch over the vehicle with their SAW machine guns, and then directly behind them are the actual EMTs, who would go on to do the actual extraction operation and would be the main medical staff on the scene. If the operation does look a bit dodgy or risky, the security team will escort the EMTs out of the vehicle and will clear a path for them utilizing their rifles and submachine guns, and will most of the time not really fire them. They are just there to intimidate anyone in their way. However, they will kill anyone or massively wound them if they try anything, and will just leave them to die. To the Trauma Team Corporation, the Hippocratic Oath doesn't really mean anything at this point. They are there to help the client that has called them out for assistance. If they have to kill non-clients to get to them, so be it. Keeping the peace is not really their job. They are a corporation, after all. Not only that, but their respect from their fellow man has gone at this point. What was once the comfort of Trauma Team coming in to help people was now a group of heavily armed, overworked, harried, angry, and impatient workers who would not deal with anyone kindly anymore. They were at the end of their tether with the citizens, thanks to how much bloodshed they had seen on a regular basis. By the end of this year, Trauma Team International had been reduced massively, and then they're not even, they're like corrupt. Trauma Team North America, which would be
world of Night City is cold.
That would patrol cities and respond to insured victims once again. Because of this change in business model, the corporation couldn't charge what it once did. And during 2045, a new planning scheme went ahead with only 2 covers available to people.
What are you up to? Are you gaming? Are you playing anything tonight?
Allowing them to have full medical coverage by Trauma Team. For anyone else, they had the choice between silver coverage and executive coverage. Silver coverage was exactly the same as the standard membership from 2020, where it would cost the client €500 per month. But if the client needed surgery, they would then have to cover the cost for what they went under. With that said, however, if a client did not want to pay extra for hospital treatments, the Trauma Team would do everything in their paramedical abilities to help them before dropping the member off at the hospital, which would most likely force the client to have to pay regardless. But the executive cover, it was relatively the same thing. It cost €1,000 a month and included all the same things as the silver coverage. However, the only difference this time was the client on this plan would not have to pay for any surgery treatment.
Thanks for chatting in. Wait, because you followed, I just put that follow box in tonight. Like that's the first time I've had it.
Thanks to the
and you're the first one that used it.
Shout out. Jobless and still could not afford the treatment. And even if they could, the treatment Trauma Team offered now was filled with contempt. A lot of medics that were once around within the 2020s had turned to almost soldiers who were only doing their job, and their clients were just there to make money for their corporation.
But I think I did get a couple last time I played.
Organization until it
got
to
a lot of different games. I play
where
right now. I've been playing this game called Cyberpunk, which is really fun and crazy,
once again, allowing them to regain all of their previous assets lost within the Fourth Gulf War. This didn't mean that the world had changed, however, as once again gangs were on the rise and the crime rate was skyrocketing. Due to this rising crime, Trauma Team International could once again raise the pricing of their services, and with the rise in prices, would once again equip their teams with the latest weaponry and machinery by Kang Tao, more substantial than what they had within the year of 2020, including things such as some of the most sophisticated reviving and life support technology available. Some of the best the world had ever seen, including a mobile cryo tank that they could use to keep the clients safe if they are in a critical condition, and give them enough time to get back to the med center without the client dying. Within Night City and many other cities during this point, Trauma Teams would now be equipped with the Trauma Team Atlas AV,
and I'm sorry if my voice is weird. I'm getting over being sick.
And the most popular AV model used within Night City. This AV would be extremely sleek in design and extremely dependable, meaning the Trauma Team would never have to worry about their equipment failing on them when they are out on calls. Now that Trauma Team were back up to full strength, their new pricing was revealed, with them now having 3 types of packages. But for all paying customers, they would receive on-the-ground services, which would include 24/7 emergency AV dispatch with a reflex booster ready pilots, armed safety experts, and military-trained paramedics. However, to make sure their clients were being genuine and the emergency was necessary, all of their clients' health would be tracked by internal cyberware, and if their signal was to show that they were in need of assistance, an AV squad would use their cyberware to locate them and would arrive on the scene in minutes. Although it is not specified how long exactly that would be, however, it is stated that would be down to how much
Oops.
they were paying for their service. Inpatient care would be on top of that, and would guarantee that every Trauma Team branch clinic would be equipped with surgical nanites, specialized antibodies, and cryogenic chambers. They would also offer their own medication and reanimators.
But for me, it's not to cheat. It's like to wear this outfit in Cyberpunk.
Plans, however,
but yeah, I guess it is hack. I guess it's like hacks.
Color-coded and would be silver, gold, and platinum. For most of the gold,
but I feel like there's different kinds of like mods. And so one time I was playing Call of Duty. Oh, this is actually crazy. One time I was playing Call of Duty years ago with someone, and they had like said that they modded their game. Let alone they failed to say that they were cheating, and I was like, wait, what do you mean you're modding? I didn't really know what it meant, you know. So that's on my console. I didn't like know what was going on. But yeah, I want to play Cyberpunk and I want to mod it.
Prices are not really known at this point.
I want to look it up though, because if I was just talking about this earlier in my stream. It's like I hope. I feel like most games ban you. Like EA bans The Sims for modding, and Activision for sure bans Call of Duty for modding, which is good because
for the most part, this is the norm for
they're cheating. But in like an open world RPG game where you're like just like changing certain elements of the game, I don't know. Do they care? Is it a big deal? I don't know what the ethics are on that. I'm new to this. I have to look it up though.
Nadia was once an enthusiastic member of Trauma Team who had the best of
Trauma Team is actually very, very corrupt. Okay, so I'm gonna see if Witcher is updated because I want to play Witcher. Well, I want to get into The Witcher, dude. Dang it, my stream might die because launching The Witcher in the middle of already being online is kind of diabolical. But we're gonna try. Fingers crossed.
Drop into heavy fire and come out of their AVs, guns blazing. The team got to the platinum level client and tried everything to make sure they were was stabilized and could extract
Witcher,
him, but they
please
were pinned
work. I
down
want to
under tons of
play.
fire. And in this battle, Nadia's own boyfriend was killed in the process by one of these psychos who was at the forefront of the attack. Nadia could not let her head get out of the game. She had to save the clients. That was her job. But as the squad was pinned down with the AV trying to clear a path, more and more of her team were killed, eventually leaving just her left with the clients as the psycho got closer and closer to her. Eventually, Nadia was successful and secured the client, however had to leave behind her dead squad mates.
So Cyberpunk is a really good game, and the same makers who made Cyberpunk made The Witcher, which to look at them it'd be weird, like they're very opposite looking. Witcher is very old-timey looking, but there's a lot of interesting elements and a lot of storyline, a lot of lore. It's based on these books and this story from like a long time ago, and then it was like turned into a story and then a game, and then it became a show on Netflix, and they got rid of the main actor and then they put a different actor, and like I never watched that far, but let's see if my GPU is screaming out for help. I updated all the drivers, so my GPU should be chilling.
Arriving at the building within Pacifica, it was once again a hot zone as it was under gang control. The AV circled around waiting to fire on those
Dude, I think we can do this. Okay, we're gonna do Witcher, guys. So thank you so much to this cyberpunk person. Shout out to them. Wisefish, thank you for... So cyberpunk is crazy good, but it's different now. Cyberpunk is different now. It's like, well, I shouldn't say it's that different, but it's definitely evolved. It's evolved.
You ain't taking him. Gonna get yourself geeked. As one of the team,
it's evolved so much, I'm telling you. And then modding it's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited. This outfit, wait, I'm gonna show you guys this outfit before we go. Hold on. Can I show? Whoopsie days. I'm also gonna clip this later. Pause. Hold on. I also don't want to like accidentally dock myself or something stupid either. Okay, so I can get this outfit, which is absolutely bananas to me. That's really all I want to do. I don't want to do anything crazy. I just want to get this outfit. Okay, but Cyberpunk is like, and honestly, it was free it was free a few weeks ago. I got one of my friends to play it. Let's see. You can wear this in Cyberpunk. It's wraps. It's wraps. I'm figuring out to mod how just to wear this. I don't care. I don't care. Yes, it is what it is. Okay, anyway. So, where is the game? I'm gonna go to stream. It's probably gonna mess all my shit up, but it's all good. It's all good. But thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the follow. If you stream, I'll definitely come hang out and chill and see what you're all about. I'm going to switch into Witcher now. Witcher is very different, very old, very weird. And I'm excited to play it. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens in this game. I don't remember most of it, which is even better because it's like I'm playing it for the first time. Let's go. This is so exciting. And I'm going to get so much good, like, I'm going to get some good clips out of this. Let's just hope my GPU doesn't totally tank on me. I'll figure out how to mod Cyberpunk when I'm offline another time. So, let me get my controller. Just the story and sword, blood and broken bones, death march. Ain't no way I'm doing death march. That's like absolutely insane. No thanks. I'd like to have a good time and keep my sanity. I'm like a bitch gamer, dude. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know if there's audio. I hope. No, I don't want to do this story. Can I do blood and broken bones? Nah, let me be humble. Let me be humble. Yeah, I haven't played this in forever, so let's just pretend like I've never played it, because I don't want to pretend like I remember hella shit. I certainly don't. I actually don't think I remember. I don't know how long I'm gonna last, but I'm gonna try. Oh wait, I gotta change my game title. Dang, dude, those graphics have changed, I feel like. I feel like when I played it before, it did not necessarily look like that. Okay, please don't show nudity. Because I'm tired of, like, my game, like, in Cyberpunk, I accidentally... Cyberpunk, they be getting naked. Oh, wait, it's the same maker, so of course there's gonna be nudity. Doy, idiot. Whatever. Twitch, I'm sorry. Don't get me in trouble.
You know I don't find that amusing.
Let me make this one way smaller. Because I'm all up in the mix right there.
It wasn't meant to amuse, but to prod you to hurry. It's midday already. You promised Ciri you'd train with her.
Okay, my GPU is screaming. Okay, we're gonna go into some settings real fast. We gotta turn the ray tracing off. I'm sorry. Call me one of the pores if you want. Call me one of the pores. I don't know if that's gonna help. We'll see. It's probably not gonna help. No. Dude, I turned ray tracing off. No, let's just leave it. Let me just leave it alone. I don't have FSR, no. Better take a headphone out in case my computer bursts into flames and I don't hear it.
Shit. Mountain Pass is beautiful as ever.
That is beautiful. KGP, I'm sorry. Just... Okay, let's go back inside.
See,
Okay, so I'm gonna look up on how to like fix this.
It's uninstructive, not to mention unreasonable.
Wait, does this mean that we're gonna get freaky?
Yeah. Better go see Siri.
I better not do that.
Go
I
and
better
train
get on
with
out
her,
of here.
Then come back
Okay.
and give me a chance to put my face on.
Of all the women I've known, you're the only one who does that before.
You've known many.
What's it matter? Only ever thought of you.
Damn. He clocked her tea. Okay. Dang, dude, this sucks. I gotta restart. I gotta, like, take it down. I gotta take it down a bit. I just don't want to put my GPU through this. I did have a feeling this might happen, though. I simply don't know, chat. I'm gonna have to look up this later, figure out like what to do to fix it. My computer is like heating up. On the upside though, in case it does just shut off out of nowhere. I just created this right here. Isn't this cool? I haven't had a follower goal in years, so it feels kind of funny to do it again. But yeah, this is so cool. It's so cute. And I created the little alien too. And my emotes from like over there in that corner, those I've had those commissioned like 5-6 years ago. I've had those forever, but I finally got like a little customization behind it, so I think it's so cute. Oh my god, what a vibe. Okay, let's see if Witcher will like let me play it. might just have to fuck around and get on Apex, y'all. I just might. Okay, so I emptied it out. I mean, I exited out to save all the changes I made. And I'm going to boot it up again. If I'm paid at 99%, I can't play this game. Which sucks because I thought I downloaded the drivers and everything I needed for it. I don't mind running my GPU like that. I just don't want to... It's like my room's already hot. I already need to get new thermal paste. Like, let me not push it, you know? Let me not push it. But this is good. I need to see these things. Okay, this might be doable. What a beautiful room.
Lilac and gooseberries, of course.
Geralt, stop fingering my toiletries.